Okay, let's dive into this. It's one of the most common and, let's be honest, super annoying car problems out there. Your car feels like it's about to rattle itself to pieces at a stoplight, but as soon as you hit the gas, everything's perfectly smooth. So what's going on? In this explainer, we're going to break down the clues your car is giving you, from the simplest physical checks all the way to the secrets hidden inside your car's computer.
Oh, you know the feeling, right? You pull up to a red light, foot on the brake, and suddenly you feel that vibration run through the whole car. The steering wheel, the seat, everything. It's a huge sign that something's not quite right, but only when the engine is running at its lowest speed.
And then, just like that, the light turns green, you press the accelerator, and the shaking vanishes. It's smooth sailing again. This is our big clue. The problem is happening specifically at idle. So we're going to play detective here, and like any good investigation, we're going to start with the most likely and easiest to check suspects first. All right, our investigation begins. And you might be surprised, but the first and most common culprit often isn't some complex, buried engine part. It's actually what's holding the whole thing in place, the physical mounts. Think of it like this. Your engine is constantly vibrating. That's just what it does. These mounts are basically heavy-duty shock absorbers that sit between that vibrating engine and your car's frame. They use a clever mix of strong metal and soft rubber to soak up all those vibrations so you have a nice, smooth ride. When they wear out, the shaking is way more noticeable at idle because the engine's vibrations are at a lower, rougher frequency, and a broken mount just can't absorb that anymore. So how do they fail? Well, over time, that rubber just gets old. It gets brittle, it cracks, it can tear, or even separate completely from the metal part. Once that happens, those engine vibrations transfer directly to the car's frame, and you feel every single bit of it. You can often spot a bad mount just by looking for these really obvious signs. It's one of the biggest causes of this issue, so it's always the first place to check. Okay, so what if the mounts look good? Our investigation now takes us under the hood to the heart of the matter, that precise cocktail of air and fuel your engine needs to run smoothly. At idle, this mixture is super critical, and even a tiny little imbalance can cause a big shake. You see, the engine needs a perfect air-to-fuel ratio to be happy, especially at idle. A cracked vacuum hose? That lets in extra unmeasured air, throwing everything off. A dirty throttle body can restrict the airflow. Clogged fuel filters or dirty injectors can literally starve the engine of fuel. And a faulty idle air control valve, the part that's supposed to manage your engine's air intake at idle, well, if it can't do its job, you're going to have a problem. Any one of these can throw the whole system out of whack.
And here's a little bit of good news. It's not always some huge, expensive repair. A very, very common issue is just simple carbon buildup, some gunk in the throttle body that messes with the airflow. A lot of the time, a good cleaning is all it takes to solve the problem completely.
Let's move on to our next set of clues. If the air and fuel mix seems okay, we need to check the component that actually ignites that mixture, the spark. A strong, consistent spark in every single cylinder is absolutely non-negotiable for a smooth idle. All right, so this is the electrical side of the equation. The most obvious culprits here are worn-out spark plugs or failing ignition coils that just can't deliver a powerful enough spark. But it can also be about bad information. A faulty oxygen sensor, which measures oxygen in the exhaust, or a bad mass airflow sensor, which measures air coming in, can feed the car's computer bad data. The computer then gets the timing or mixture wrong, and that leads to a weak or inconsistent spark.
And all of that leads us to the technical term for what you're feeling, a misfire. Think of your engine cylinders like a team of rowers in a boat. If one rower misses a stroke, the whole boat jolts, right? That's a misfire. One cylinder isn't contributing power correctly, and that creates an imbalance that you feel as a very distinct shake or a shudder.
Now, what if you've checked the mounts and you can't hear any weird hissing from a vacuum leak? Guessing which sensor or spark plug has gone bad can be really frustrating. But luckily, your car has a built-in diagnostic system that can often point you right to the problem. That little amber light on your dashboard, it's your best friend in this investigation. It means the car's onboard computer has detected a problem and stored an error code. It's literally a message from your car telling you where to start looking. And accessing that message is incredibly simple. You just use a tool called an OBD2 scanner. You find the port. It's almost always under the dashboard on the driver's side. You plug the scanner in, and boom, it'll read out the specific error codes the car has stored.
And don't think this is just for brand new cars. This system, called OBD2, has been a standard requirement on every single vehicle sold in the US since way back in 1996. That means this powerful diagnostic tool is available to pretty much everyone who's driving today.
And this is why the scanner is such a game changer. It doesn't give you a vague engine problem message. No, it gives you a specific code, like P0101, which points directly to a problem with the mass airflow sensor. It takes the guesswork completely out of the equation and tells you exactly where to look next.
Okay, so you followed the clues. Maybe you found a cracked mount, or maybe your OBD2 scanner gave you an error code. So what's the next step? This is where you decide if it's a job you can tackle yourself or if it's time to call in a professional mechanic.
So what can you handle? Visually checking mounts, swapping an air filter, listening for vacuum leaks, and of course, reading the codes with the scanner, those are all great DIY starting points. But when you get into replacing sensors, deep cleaning a fuel system, or trying to diagnose an issue when there are no codes, that's when a professional mechanic's experience and their specialized tools are absolutely essential.
So, the next time you feel that shake at a stoplight, you're no longer in the dark. You have a checklist. You have a diagnostic path to follow. From physical mounts to air, fuel, and spark, you now know the language of that vibration. The only question left is, what is your car trying to tell you?